The complicating factor from Monday, the news that a lawsuit has been filed against the Houston Texans for their role in allegedly enabling Deshaun Watson's behavior, providing him with a non-disclosure agreement for use at these private massage sessions. Once they became aware that there may be an issue, somebody was making some noise on Instagram, the reaction wasn't to find out exactly what it is that may have happened and fix the situation and address the deeper problem that may have existed or did exist. It was, here's a way to cover it all up. Here's a way to keep it all quiet. Here's a way to get them to keep their mouths shut if they're not happy about what happens at one of these private massages. Also providing a room at the Houstonian, providing a massage table. The argument is the Houstons knew or should have known what was happening, and they failed to protect the individuals who became the prey in this effort by Deshaun Watson to find massage therapists who would give him massages, and then he would try to steer it towards something more than a massage. Now, it's an aggressive argument. It's an aggressive interpretation of the law because the frontline defense is we're not responsible for the criminal conduct of someone else. We're not responsible for what he did. When he commits a criminal act, that supersedes anything we may have done, and we're not on any sort of obligation to figure out whether or not he's committing crimes. All we know is he's getting these massages, and we're providing him with some material at his request. Depends upon what the current state of Texas law is and how it's developed over the years when it comes to the concept of duty. That's the key. There'll be a legal fight early on in these cases, I believe, and we don't know how many more there will be. Tony Busby, the lawyer who represents these women, say there could be many. First of what could be many. The argument will be that the Texans had no legal duty to these individuals who have no relationship to the organization whatsoever. And again, it depends upon what Texas law is. And what will happen is, and I don't want to make this a continuing legal education class, but the law is developed in primarily two ways. One, with some exceptions. One, a legislature passes a law that gets signed into effect by the chief executive, whether it's a governor or the president. The other way the law develops is one case at a time. The rulings that are made in a given case, the reasoning that applies to a given case becomes relevant to future cases. And that's most of what lawyers do, because it's either past cases that have evolved, interpretations that have been applied to different cases, or a statute, a law that's been passed, and then how it's interpreted by the courts. Lawyers in litigation, for the most part, spend their time arguing on behalf of clients that certain cases that have been decided by relevant courts in the past should be applied a certain way to these facts. And what happens is sometimes you get a new set of facts, and a new set of facts that cries out for some form of justice can cause the law to get bent in a direction that it hadn't previously bent before. And in Texas, you get a case like this where we see that an NDA was given by the Texans to Deshaun Watson. I've seen a copy of the actual NDA. It looks like it came from a subpoena that was served on the Texans by the lawyers representing the women suing Deshaun Watson. They had it in their files. This is what we gave him. He's admitted that he got it from them. That creates a situation where the law tries to find a remedy, that there's just a visceral sense something was done that shouldn't have been done. So we're going to find a way through this maze to give this person justice. That's how so much of the legal sausage gets made. I remember when I went to law school, I thought it was a formulaic episode. It was objective, that the law was a puzzle to be solved. It's really not. There is a lot of play in the joints of this structure that is the law. And good lawyers, when you're asked to go from point A to point B, you can get there a bunch of different ways. And really, you're asked to get to point A or point B. You start here, the end result is here or here. A good lawyer can make a compelling argument for either destination. A judge ultimately has to decide which destination is the right one. That's why political affiliation, ideology, it's so important, and it goes into the process of electing or appointing judges. What is your mindset? What are your philosophies? It's been relevant for reasons I won't discuss today, but discussed yesterday. What's your mindset? Because your mindset will influence whether or not you work your way through your maze this side, or you work your way through the maze and land there. but there's always a way to land wherever you want to land. There's always play. It's very rare that it's black and white and there's no discretion to be exercised. So Texas law, long story bearable, Texas law will go a long way toward determining whether or not the Texans have a duty to these individuals. And if there isn't currently law to the effect that there is a duty, the right judge from the plaintiff's perspective or the wrong judge from the Texans' perspective may find that, you know what, under these circumstances, there is a duty to these individuals because you knew or you should have known what Deshaun Watson was doing. I think this also complicates Deshaun Watson's situation with the NFL. First of all, it demonstrates this thing is going to continue to linger even if the cases against him are over. These cases go forward with the Texans as the target. And Deshaun Watson may very well be testifying either in person or through videotape depositions that get edited and used with the portions that are relevant to a given case. But to the extent that we thought last week that the train was pulling into the station, the reality is another train is just pulling out of the station. So all the more reason for the NFL to want an indefinite suspension. It gives it flexibility after this season to decide where everything is and where everything should go from here. It doesn't end Deshaun Watson's involvement in these cases. And this could be an entire new universe of litigation that just continues to drag Deshaun Watson down. And also, to the extent that we know owners routinely call the commissioner and complain about things and ask for certain things and want other things. And I can imagine this only increases the temperature of any communications, especially from Houston to Park Avenue, regarding what the Texans would like to see happen to Deshaun Watson, because he's made a mess now that they have to pay for. They won't want him playing this year. Hell, they may not want him ever playing again.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.